am Jessica Koch. Yes, we are back again for another Profound Professionals. This interview series has been coming to you for 7, yes, I said it, 7 years now. We have been live streaming. You have been following us, and we have been bringing you brilliant industry experts that help improve your personal life or grow your business for that long. Can you believe it? Give yourself a big hug. You've been following us. You've been sharing and liking, doing all the things that help others who need to hear the information and meet the guests just like you. So today I am going to bring you 2 beautiful and brilliant ladies. I am going to bring Kendall. She is a luxury real estate agent in Dallas, Texas, but works referrals all over the country, doing deals in New York and other major cities right now as we speak. And I have the beautiful and brilliant Jill. She is the media magnet, the PR expert. She is the PR piece de resistance, and I just totally butchered that. So the French people, yes, put something in the comments. I'll work on it. I need to take a class or two. She's also a best-selling author and an amazing books, 4 of them, by the way, count them 4. We'll talk about those later. And she speaks and trains all over the world. Yes, this big wide globe is her marketplace. So we're going to get to know these ladies a little better. And we're going to find out what books they love and the tips they have for you. Yes, it's all about you. We're going to give you tons of gifts and presents. So make sure that you're not the only one watching. Make sure you hit that share button. And we are going to start with Kendall. Kendall, tell us about your journey story. So how did you decide real estate is the thing for me?
Well, thank you so much for having me, by the way. You're such a fun personality, and I really enjoyed speaking with you earlier. Real estate for me, I've always been in sales. My whole career has been in sales. I've sold every non-sexy thing under the sun. And real estate was something that I always loved, but it came naturally through my last corporate job when people kept asking me, oh, you were so helpful in my sale. Do you know a local realtor? And that's what got me to get my license. I got licensed originally in New York City. That's where I started my real estate career. And then I relocated back to Dallas, this is my hometown. This is where I'm from, and started my real estate career all over again about 4 years ago. And I've loved getting to know the Dallas market. It has changed so much. I'm sure everybody has heard how Dallas is growing, and it's been so fun to watch it happen. And then use my specific niche experience coming from New York City, where I sell luxury condos in Dallas, which is a very specific niche in the Dallas market because there's not lots of those in Dallas. But I wanted the same lifestyle that I had in New York, and I brought it with me, and I continue that in Dallas. So that's how I got started and how I got into my niche and kind of stayed in my lane, so to say.
Well, you heard her, ladies and gentlemen. She went from selling all kinds of things she felt was kind of unsexy, and she went to the ultimate of sexy in luxury real estate. And she did it in the 2, I don't know about you, but when I was a little girl, used to watch the Dallas. There can't be a more dazzling, sexy city than Dallas. Oh, except for maybe New York. And, she was there too. So my husband is actually from he was born in Queens, and he grew up for a good part of his young years in Long Island. So we have a little sprinkle of that also. So tell us what the customer experience is when they work with you. Now, remember, talk about the individuals that you're helping buy and sell across or introduce people across the country, but also those referral partners in the real estate space, what they receive when they work with you too. So from those both aspects, give us a little hint on what your customer journey experience is like.
Well, I would say, my specific way that I work with clients, for me, it's all question based. I dig pretty deep. I really want to get to know you. Because if you just ask, what are you looking for? A 4-bedroom, 4-bath, I want a good school, etc. You're going to go on 1,000 appointments and 1 million showings. I spend a lot of time. I've got actually a list of questions that I ask. And I do it because when you go through these specific questions, you don't want just how big is the house? What do you want? Everybody wants great schools, etc. if they've got children. But when you get into what I call the dream state. If you could wave a magic wand, is my famous question, and have everything you ever wanted in your home, what would that look like? So I think taking somebody's head out of, my budget's $1 million. I want 4 bedrooms, 4 baths. I want the best school possible, et cetera, et cetera. Taking them out of the finance and putting them into a dream state of, they start to think about things that are not in the box. So I think trying to get to a client, I guess you would say on the left brain and the right brain, helps me create the entire picture and get a better whole view of what that person really wants. I mean, do you want a little putt-putt course in the backyard because your husband absolutely loves it, and if he came home and he could do that, that would help him relax? Sometimes 4 bedrooms and 4 baths is not what actually they need, because if you really dig in, they'll say, oh, well, I work from home and that's why I want another bedroom. Well, if I found a home that had an area that you could create an office, maybe you could have a 3 bedroom. There's a lot of different ways you can work with a house that won't drive necessarily the client crazy or the realtor crazy, looking at hundreds of options when really there can be, if you really dig deep and ask all the questions and really listen to what they want. That's my process. So that's kind of the questions that I go through in order to find out really what at their heart they're looking for, what my clientele looks at specifically. Like I said, I kind of stay in my lane. So I generally work, majority of my clients are going to be people that are looking to relocate from another large urban area and they want that urban lifestyle. They might be downsizing from a larger home, either outside of Dallas in a suburb or outside of Texas. And they say, you know what, I'm done with the huge house and the 7,000 square feet and the acre and the lawns and the this. And they say, you know what, I want to lock and leave. I want to pet a tear. You don't have to worry about your lawn because you don't have one. Your pipes don't freeze. It's like living in the Ritz-Carlton, which, by the way, we have residences there also. But it's that type of lifestyle. Maybe you travel constantly and you just walk out your door and you go to San Francisco for the weekend and you don't have to worry about, all the things that homeowners have to worry about when you travel. So those are the type of clientele I work with, and that I live the lifestyle myself. I've renovated. I've moved from Chicago to New York to Paris to Dallas. So if you're talking about relocating, I got it. I've renovated in New York. I've renovated in Chicago. I've renovated in Dallas. I understand contractors, plumbers. So those are the type of people that I say, I know this isn't the perfect condo. Does it sound scary? Yes. But do I have all the people that can help you? Absolutely, I do. So I try to make that process not so scary, not just in the purchase of the condo, but also in the process of purchasing my condo.
So so you hear the detail she goes in. So if you're a realtor and you're listening and you're in some other part of the country and you have a client that needs help in Dallas, totally send her to you. Reach out and build relationships, because I love how or national realtors can be at this point in the world. And I would say, if you were talking to me, I know we're buying our dream home in the next 2 years. And, wedding brides plan a wedding for a year on average, right? Well, I do my homework. I want oceanfront. So I watch every oceanfront house show on television. I've searched all the websites. I've looked at the maps. I'm studying communities. Like, I am doing my homework, as in the next 2 years, we are going to have that oceanfront house that has everything on the list. And I probably, if you talk to me in depth, we don't have the time now, about my dream home, I could give you some questions you don't have on your list. You should be asking people. That's how detailed I am into this. So give us a tip before we hear and learn and get to know about the PR star of all time, Jill. So give us one final tip on this, and then we'll come back to you in a bit.
I think my tip is always just try to be more open-minded. I'm talking to you as a client, let's say, because I have a lot of people, like I said, with the questions. That's why I ask some of these open-ended questions and try to get people into a dream state, because I think a lot of people think about real estate, it's transactional. It's not. It's an emotional buy. And they understand it when they're in it, because then they're like, oh, I can't decide. Will my wife like it? Does, is it good for the kids? That's where I'm like, okay, we're getting into the emotional part.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I feel like I have to always try to get people to try to be as open-minded as possible. Just because, like I say, if it's a 4-bedroom, a certain neighborhood, you don't have to be married to what you perceive in your head, because what you perceive is maybe not what you think.
Mm-hmm.
So even you, Jessica, I'm like, you've got this total idea. Like, maybe I could find you something that's actually on a lake and it's not on the ocean and it checks all the boxes. So it's like, I think people have preconceived notions of what they envision. But if you keep a very open mind and just say, okay, look, I do this for a living. If you trust in me, that I understand, I've asked all these questions, that I feel like I understand what you're looking for, then let me guide you, and then see if we can find, oh, you didn't think about that. Well, when you said this, that triggered that in my head, and I knew that this would be something you would enjoy. So I would say my tip is just to try to be open-minded, because there are a lot of people out there, engineers, doctors, etc., that they're very, everything's in a box. And then those are the ones, actually I've been working with a lot of them. So those have been ones that I've really been, okay, we gotta get out of the box, because I really think that this would be exactly what you're looking for. So open-mindedness, I think, and try to have fun. It's a huge purchase, and I take it very seriously.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing. All right. Are you guys holding onto your seats? Hold on to your hats. I have known this brilliant, beautiful woman for several years now. And I have to tell you, she is going to blow your socks off with what she knows with PR. If you really want to be seen, you want to be that icon, you want to go viral, you want to be places and that you just never imagined you might be able to go or be featured, Jill is your girl. She's got 4 books under her belt and so much knowledge and so much kindness and giving. Jill, share with us, how did you get to be a PR star?
Oh, Jessica, it's a delight to be with you always. And well, a PR star, I certainly didn't start out this way. I kind of twisted and turned like many of us do. I actually was in law school for a year and hated that. Dropped out, much to my father's upset, but it was the right move for me. However, during law school, I actually discovered, funny enough, my path, which is I actually started working in the music business and ended up as the director of promotion and publicity for like multiple record labels. So I discovered my true gift, which is publicity, and stayed in the music business for multiple years, and then started my own PR agency, then wrote Guerrilla Publicity, and just kept going. So, I think it really was a kind of a wonderful accident, I'll call it. And certainly not, I didn't study it in school or any of that fun stuff, but ended up zig and zagging and finding the right place for me to use my best talents and skills, which I love, helping people get their name out there and creating publicity.
Now, what kind of people, when you say that, are you working with large corporations, big organizations? Are these entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, mid-sized business owners? They have a small team. Who is your main focus, or the main kind of client that you seem to be getting the most success with at this point in your career?
Well, a few things. Number one, I've worked with Phillips corporations, big real estate companies, actually, Kendall, to help messaging. Particularly, I'm very good at messaging and putting together the PR strategy together. So on one side, I do, I'll call it corporate companies, small to mid-sized companies who just need another publicity arm, and that kind of strategy overlook, strategic thinking to really put a plan in place that works. And then I run a virtual publicity boot camp, which helps people really just get this stuff done. And I really support people to create visibility and publicity. And that's a small business owner, more entrepreneurial, coaches, consultants, people in the small business world. So that would be that leg of the stool.
So the speakers, the authors, the online course developers, that whole world you're able to support in that virtual boot camp piece
Yes.
of it. Yes,
absolutely.
That's wonderful. So, what would you say their customer journey experience is as they work with you? Are they working in groups? Is it all virtual? Is it online? Is it in person? Is it an online course? Is it all the above? I know we've got the books to support them. What are the ways that the customer experiences their journey with you when they decide, I need that Jill, I need some better PR, and I'm going to get it, and I'm going to go get Jill because Jesse said she's awesome. And that's right. I did. I said she's awesome. So,
Oh, thank you. Well, the great news is, I've made everything so much easier, especially honestly post-pandemic. I'm just like, we can do this everywhere. I used to go all over the world, Dallas and LA and all kinds of places and teach my courses. And now guess what I get to do? All online, which frankly makes it a lot easier for all my clients. So bottom line is you come online with me and we have interactive, simple, fun, and get it done publicity workshops. I'm really a tactical, practical kind of person. I want people to get publicity done quickly, effectively, and in a way that's efficient and without the $5,000 a month bill that most PR agencies charge you, by the way. I'm not going to charge you that. Mine is a very affordable boot camp. I mean, like $197. It's crazy. And just making things really simple. I'm really big on simple, effective, like communication that then you can relate to your clients and actually relate to the media so that you actually make media happen. So I'm really big on simple strategy. We actually get it done right there in the boot camp. People love that, actually.
So is the boot camp one virtual session, a series of virtual sessions?
It's 3 very short days because I know people are busy. So everything I do is oriented toward busy people who know they need to get this publicity happening, maybe not as aware how to do it. And I frankly roll up our sleeves, make it very simple. And not only that, but I've done a really fun thing this past year. And that is I have a media panel there that actually you get to pitch. Like as a business person, imagine this, you get to pitch the media right there on Zoom. And they're giving you great things that work in the media and what's hot right now and what you need to correct. And so I have a wonderful media panel, very interactive days that people actually get things done, like their bios and the message and the things that kind of go over people's heads. I bring it into simple language that helps you communicate it to others quickly so you get better prospects, make more media happen, and frankly, get media happening for you.
Do you still work one-on-one with some corporations and organizations to support them on the PR?
I do. I have what I call VIP days. And that's what I would do in a corporate setting or with some business people that want to work with me privately.
Does that include some ongoing support? Like once they're done with their day, do they get some other touches with you throughout the year or the quarterly or check-in or something with that?
They absolutely do. And that's super fun too, is ongoing opportunities. I always listen. I want my people to succeed. And so we'll pour in on a beautiful day of strategic implementation and a plan and a blueprint for what works moving ahead. And yes, then there's follow-up.
Now, my other question before we get into your tip is, if I have these big starry-eyed dreams, where are some of the places you can truly get them? I mean, can you get them on the different major talk show host shows? Can you get them on, Good Morning America? Like, what are some of the things that you can help them achieve? Give us some of the real exciting stuff that people, daydream about. We're going to go back to Kendall's chat of let's get them in a dream state. Where could they go with this, Jill? Come on, give it to us. Where?
Well, here's the fun thing about media is that it's really a gift that keeps on giving and it multiplies. One thing I've seen about media is that when you get in one, the media is very somewhat incestuous, and like all of a sudden you were on one, and that it really snowballs into multiple media opportunities. Like you can be on an ABC affiliate in Dallas, and then ABC San Francisco sees you, and they actually do look at feeds. You could be in your local newspaper in Des Moines, Iowa, and the Oprah, well, it used to be the Oprah show, but Good Morning America will pick you up, right?
Right.
Because what's happening is producers are looking at feeds, meaning
Mhm.
affiliates. When you're on a local, and I like people to be on local, you're ABC, NBC, CBS, TV and radio locally, guess what happens? The bigger producers, the other ones, are looking at you so that they can choose you. They're looking for great stories. So that's super fun. And the thing about getting in media is that it can happen literally in an instant. And I've seen it happen in an instant, meaning all of a sudden you will be called because you're the right one. Your number's up, your moment is here. And it does happen that quick.
Now, I say you
yeah.
shouldn't be on media unless you get the proper media coaching of how to hold and present and compose yourself in a media setting, especially in television and things. Do you work with clients to help them prepare for that show, and even if it's just their local television network?
Yeah, and by the way, when you say even if it's your local television network is a huge opportunity. This is the thing I really want everybody to know. I mean, listen, media is media is media. And who was it? Mark Victor Hansen, who, by the way, not only has been on one of my books, he's like on the top cover, right? Because he's given me quotes of Chicken Soup for the Soul fame. But one of the things he taught me is say yes to everything. And he, by the way, hired me to go in and strategically have a VIP day for a book he was working on with one of the major, actually real estate people, Robert Allen, on a book they were doing. You know, one of the things he said to me is, he said, Jill, you're in this room today because I know how important media is. He said, when we launched Chicken Soup for the Soul, of course, you've all heard of that. They've only sold like 80 million books, right? He said, we said yes to every single little thing that we could do. We didn't care if it was a morning talk show, a late day, whatever. Everything was a yes. And I think that's really, see, I even got a sign for it. You all need to be a yes to all media that's possible, because that's how you make the big dreams happen. So everything matters and everything counts. And I like people, to start locally. I think it's really key. And I would tell you one way to get your big dreams, if you want to be in Forbes or Inc. or Good Morning America or anything else. And by the way, I've been in Forbes and Inc. twice. And part of that is finding the right message and starting wherever you start. Wherever you start, you take a baby step toward PR, and then it keeps building and building and building. And that's what's true about publicity.
All right. And also, I would say yes, but also get coaching to be ready. You don't want to say yes to everything and then show up and kind of fall over your own feet or your own tongue. I think that preparation to be able to truly shine in those opportunities is key. And working with an expert like Jill can really help you get there. So she has the blueprint and the map to get you on your local channels that then can unfold and lead into all these other opportunities. Could you give us a tip?
Can I just say one thing? And not just local. You want to get on Good Morning America, we got to have the map and the blueprint to get there, right? Wherever you want to be, that's what's key. And we have to define it and create it. And yes, then clarity on your message, focus, 5-year-old language, translation. I find, honestly, Jessica, so many people kind of talk on and on, but they don't have it in sound bites and in ways that can be delivered simply. So that is one of my big, should I say, gifts that I'm able to help people do.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's some consultation on what to wear and how to hold yourself, and all these things are so key and so important that you just don't think about in an everyday setting. So could you give us? You've given us a series of tips just talking to you. You can't help yourself; they all come out. But if you could give us a specific additional tip, and then we're going to move to Kendall because we have a couple more things that we want to ask her about.
Absolutely. So I hope you really heard start local. Yes. Many of you, I don't care if you have a brick and mortar or not, your local media does need you, particularly your local biz journal is great. So I really want to underline that to start local, even if you consult with people all over the world and don't even have any clients local. So sometimes that kind of skips over people.
Yeah.
And here's a hot tip. I want you to go to Google Alerts, and I want you to put in your name, first name, last name, because when the media does write about you, you have to know. And along with that, put in one word or a phrase, simple, easy phrase. Like when I wrote The Profit of Kindness, I put in the word kindness. And that way I discovered that November 13th, for example, is World Kindness Day. Didn't know that till I was in Google Alerts, till I wrote The Profit of Kindness. And I will tell you, being in Google Alerts, for instance, I did an ABC Dallas TV interview. Well, I don't live in Dallas like she does, but I got a Google Alerts, Jill Lublin, featured on ABC TV Dallas. And with the edited version, now I can have a leverage piece for publicity that, of course, you always want to publicize your publicity. So there were multiple tips in there. I hope that helps, Jessica.
Yeah, well, I have a tip for you to add to her tips. One, if you do Google Alerts, they're brilliant, by the way. And also, you should be Google alerting your top clients. Like one of the sales things I did, Kendall, I've been sales all my life as well. And one of my hottest customers was a new CFO, a brand new CFO. So I Google alert anything that came out with, and I put in quotes, new CFO. And that was a hot customer for me. Now, the other tip I will give is when you do set up Google alerts so that you're not texting very unkind things in our comments, because we're giving you brilliant tips. So be kind to us. Use an email that you don't need to check every day. Don't send it to your main email, because you will get a bazillion tips and you want to just be able to go and look at them when it's convenient for you, and not have it bogged down and bog up and mess up clog up the works of your regular email system. My next tip is really, take her workshop, go to her boot camp, do her thing. That sounds like a brilliant idea to me. So go do Jill's boot camp. That's my tip. And I'm going to come to Kendall now. Now, we started this 7 years ago, and from show one, we had it in our hearts it was in my heart to not just feature amazing humans doing things out of the box in their industry globally, but to also make sure we take a moment of pause and talk about causes that were near and dear to the hearts of our guests, so that we might inspire you to give time, treasure, or talent to a cause near you that you care about, or you might look into this one, or you might know someone who needs this one that they share, or you might need it yourself. So make sure you're hitting the share button now, because now's the time. We want to get all of those causes as much exposure as possible, because you just don't know who they might inspire or support. So Kendall, can you share with us the cause that you care about?
My cause is the Turtle Creek Conservancy. So Turtle Creek is the neighborhood that I live in, which is on a beautiful park. It's one of the largest parks in urban Dallas. And there's a creek that runs all along the road that I'm in, and the Conservancy protects the park. So they take care of all the plants in the park, they take care of the creek, and they make sure it's clean and it's pretty and it's beautiful. And it's my little central park, so to say. And so because my building sits in the center of it, I want to make sure that my building is surrounded by the beauty that I love. So that's what I give to. I've already got a goal within my real estate career that I want to be able to donate a tree and have that lit up when they do the light up Turtle Creek Park. And so I can say, that's my tree. Because it's just beautiful. It's so pretty to look at. And I think having a park in an urban area is so special. Those of us that live in big cities, greenery is very important because it's a lot of sidewalks and a lot of buildings. So I make sure I take care of them, and they do monthly meetings, which I go to. And it's a wonderful cause in my little niche of a neighborhood.
Yeah, and I would say to you, if you're not in her neighborhood and that park doesn't directly inspire or support you, look at your local, state, and national parks. Look at different ways that you can support the beauty of our planet and our globe and the coral reef and whatever. Just be inspired, do something, time, treasure, or talent, or just hitting the share button. That could make a difference too. So thank you for sharing that. Now, as you guys know, they're behind me, they're around me. I adore them. I like them in audio format. I like them the old fashioned way. Yes, I know I need to plant another tree, but I really, really love books. And by the end of 2024, we are reaching for a goal and we're stretching hard, but I think we can make it to interview 1,000 industry experts by the end of 2024. Will have been through our shows and on our platforms and available, bringing beautiful tips and amazing information to you. So I am creating the ultimate book list to go with that celebration. So we always ask our guests to share a book that inspired their personal life or helped them grow their business, not written by them. So Kendall, give us a book that inspired your personal life or helped you grow your business so we can add it to our ultimate book list.
I've got a feeling it's probably already on there, but I just did this. I did the audio book. So Alex Hormozy has $100 million offers and $100 million leads. He's getting ready to come out with his third book. And I listened to $100 million offers on a plane ride to Palm Beach, finished the whole thing. I was taking notes. It's an excellent book, especially for entrepreneurs. So that's my tip to you is read the book. There's 100 million tips. And then his second book is $100 million leads. Another one, great way to get leads. And to jump off of Jill's last comment, which Alex Hormozy talks about, which is why I'm here, content. And what he said is, if you put one thing out and it gets great reviews or you get great feedback, let's say it's this podcast, well, I'm not doing just this one. I'm going to try to do 100 million of them because you just have to keep getting your face and your value and whatever it is that you're offering out there and constantly pushing it out there. Because if there's something that I have to say or you have to say or Jill has to say that's of value, like we want to see more. So Jill, you're exactly right.
Well, I have to tell you, no one's ever brought up that book before. So
I'm really?
glad
Okay.
you shared it. So we will be adding them both to the list.
Great book.
And they're good for whether you're a realtor or not a realtor. Yes.
It doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you're an entrepreneur, there's unending amounts of information in there, or even if you're just in a business, it's wonderful.
Amazing. I can't wait to get my hands on that one. Thank you for sharing.
And it's free.
Oh, well, that's, hey, maybe we can make sure that we add that link to the article.
Yes.
So everybody has it. We usually mention in your article the book that you mentioned. So yeah, amazing information. Thank you for that. All right, Jill, you have a cause that's close to your heart. I think you're really, I've met a lot of giving humans in my lifetime, but you're definitely up there in the top bracket of those people who are kind and giving and very approachable. Like, she's done so many amazing things and been featured so many amazing things. And you would think sometimes that kind of a person isn't necessarily approachable, but I've never felt that way about you, Jill. So thank you for that. And please share with us the cause that's close to your heart.
Absolutely. And thank you for that. I'm an animal lover. I just got 2 new rescue kittens who joined my 2 other rescue animals who are now 11 years old, just saying. So that makes 4. And we got a full house, but one's heart can never be too full. Right. And so my cause is anything related to animals. I would say, ASPCA is a great place to start, but I also believe in starting really locally. Like I have a woman who I donate to called the Marin Cat Connection. What does she do? She goes to kill shelters and rescues the cats out of the kill shelters, which is how I got mine. And it's quite special. So find something that's local for you that you can support in your own community. I think that's a great place, but certainly the ASPCA does a great job too.
I can't wait to start talking about all of the books behind your on your shelf right behind you there, behind your beautiful smile. But I would like to start with a book written by someone else that inspired your personal life or helped you grow your business. What do you got for
Yeah.
us, Lou?
Oh, there's so many. One of my commitments is to read a book a month. First of all, I'm in a book club, so that's
Me
my
too.
that you too. Oh, excellent. That takes
And
care
I'm
of
always reading at least 3 to 5 books at any given time.
isn't it great? So that takes care of my fiction needs, but on a nonfiction level, the book that's really helped change my life. There's a few. One of them is called Success Principles by Jack Canfield. Love that book. I think it should guide everybody's life. And the other one, should I throw another one in just because I
Sure,
love
go
it?
ahead.
All
Mhm.
right. It's called The Power of Focus.
I
With
I was gonna mention that one since you mentioned the other one. I love that book. That's a great one.
It is a great book, and it's Les Hewitt who really wrote it. And I actually had
Mhm.
the pleasure and privilege of flying out. Yes, I flew to Calgary, Canada, to take his 1-day course for literally 8 months to do. We did one module a month about the power of focus. It was fantastic, and I feel very blessed to have worked with him directly and gotten really clear on the different places of focus. It's been wonderful.
Yeah, it's still a place, that the one thing, the power of focus, it's still that challenge for me because I'm growing so big and I have different divisions of my company and different things are happening. And so, it's really difficult to feel like there is focus, but I'll keep working at it. I'll just keep working at
That's right. I mean,
it.
that's what focus takes. At least you're delineating it, Jessica, which
Yeah.
is great.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell us about all of the amazing books behind you and the ones that you've authored.
Oh, thank you. So I've actually written these plus four. I think I'm in at least 4 or 5 other compilation books. The Guerrilla Publicity is my really flagship book.
Mhm.
We're in our 3rd edition now, which is super exciting because we keep updating it with all the great things that are happening in the publicity world. So Guerrilla
Mhm.
Publicity is a classic, I'll call it, and ongoing and timeless. The Profit of Kindness is my latest book, and to that end, we actually do kindness circles literally every month. Super great. We have over 1,000 people now in our
I've been,
community.
I've
Yay!
visited,
I
I've
know, isn't it
visited. They're
great?
wonderful. Yes.
Yes, and we should put the link in the chat, by the way, for people too.
Yeah.
And Networking Magic is how to network effectively and what to do to create great networking so that it sticks and stays. Get Noticed, Get Referrals is a wonderful book. Again, I tend to work in insurance and real estate, particularly with referrals and networking.
Mhm.
And that's a book really about how do you create and get more referrals.
That sounds like a great book for any of your like favorite referral agents. Valentine's is coming up, so appreciation for clients,
Yeah.
prospects, referral partners, joint venture partners. Sounds like the profit of kindness and that getting more referrals would be a great gift. So keep that in mind. We'll make sure all the links to get a hold of Jill's books and all the ways to reach both of these beautiful, brilliant ladies will be in the articles and in the comments of the different places you're finding us and watching us right now. And we push it out over the course of the next few months. We actually have a marketing plan for our shows and our podcasts. So if you're watching, you're thinking, well, wait, I'm an industry expert. I can help someone improve their life or grow their business. I should be on this show. Well, I think you should be too. Reach out to our team and we'll get you the details on how to get booked and scheduled. And, in the light of kindness, don't just do it for yourself. If you're an industry expert, you're out there networking, another industry expert. Be their hero and ours too. Introduce them to us. We'll feature them. And, it's just a great big multiple win for everyone involved. Now, before we say goodbye to these beautiful and brilliant ladies who have given us so much information, so much value, so many tips, so opening us into their lives and their journeys, I'm going to get a final piece of information or inspiration before I let them loose. So, Kendall, what do you have for us? How are you going to close us out for the show today?
I would say a final piece of inspiration or information is obviously going to come from my niche, but I live and love my passion. So for me, even though yes, I am a realtor, I do live in the area where I sell,
Mm-hmm.
and I love it. and everybody says I can sell snow to an Eskimo. Well, it's because when I'm in my condo and I'm in my neighborhood and I'm like, well, yeah, of course I know Bob. He's at the steakhouse, and I know Alan, and I know the dry cleaning guy. Because I think if you are in an industry where you truly love, which I can tell both Jessica and Jill, you guys love what you do too, it makes it so easy to sell. So I think it's not even sales. It's just, I want you to experience what I experience every day. Is I enjoy my life, and my job just happens to pay me for what I love to do. And I think that's what I finally found. Even though I've always loved sales, real estate is kind of the penultimate thing that I love doing. And the condo lifestyle of being able to walk out my door and walk into a beautiful park and walk on the trail and walk to my favorite restaurant and see my friends and they're across the street. Like, I think I have been given a gift and I love it.
You know, I can see how beautiful that is. And I'm gonna say, I try not to make any comments after your final thoughts, but I have to say this. I think, and if they're watching, someone from the staff is watching, and my PR person will, amazing, brilliant Jill will love this too. I think you should approach the tourism community for Dallas, because you could do a commercial to bring your business, bring your family to Dallas, and here's your experience.
Yeah.
I think you would be a really cornerstone, a spokesperson for the region to bring in new companies that want to be in Dallas and new families that want to locate to Dallas, because you paint a picture, you bring in that dream factor, and I think they're missing out if they don't
Me
feature.
too.
If they don't feature you in a hot commercial to promote
Yeah.
Dallas, I think they've just totally missed the boat on that one. What do you think, Jill?
I think you are a delight with your enthusiasm and your definite commitment to your clients and what you care about and your love of what you do. I think people get that, and that is something worth shouting about.
For sure. Now Jill's going to give us her final thought, her piece of information or inspiration. Hold on to your hats, brace yourself in your seats. I know it's going to be a good one. No pressure, Jill. Go ahead.
Well, one of my favorite quotes is Abraham Lincoln, who said, "Whatever you are, be a good one."
Mm-hmm.
And I would tell you, for each of you to be in your best, your good one. And the fun, amazing, really productive thing about publicity is that it's the message that's going to multiply you and magnify you and monetize you. And I want you to remember that your message matters. Your message matters.
I love that. Well, that's it, guys. It's been a wrap for another Profound Professionals. I hope you loved being guests as much as I loved having you. And I hope you listening have enjoyed our guests as much as I have. Please, again, share. I'm your host, Jessica Koch. This has been Profound Professionals, and I'm going to close the show like I always do. Be kind to yourself out there and be kind to each other. Bye, everybody.